Hey Falcons fans! The Atlanta Falcons may have just received the opportunity they've been waiting for in their relentless pursuit of NFC South supremacy. And I'm here to tell you all the details, so hit that like button. And if you're a Falcons fan who still wears the jersey despite the ups and downs, write in the comments, Falcons forever. Only true fans admit that. Now, it wasn't a blockbuster signing or a mid-season trade that tipped the scales. No, it was an event coming out of Tampa Bay, and it happened quietly, but with seismic implications. All-Pro left tackle Tristan Wirfs is expected to miss the start of the 2025 season after knee surgery. And who do the Bucs face in Week 1? That's right, your Atlanta Falcons, at home in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. This isn't just another injury report. This is a game-altering absence. Wirfs, a four-time Pro Bowler and cornerstone of the Buccaneers' offensive line, has been the human shield protecting Baker Mayfield's blind side. Without him, Tampa's offensive front instantly becomes vulnerable, and that vulnerability lines up directly against the biggest point of emphasis for the Falcons this offseason, building a relentless, quarterback-hunting defensive line. Atlanta's front office wasted no time revamping the pass rush after a disappointing 8-9 season. They knew what the missing ingredient was. They signed veterans like Leonard Floyd and Morgan Fox, then went out and drafted James Pierce Jr. and Jalen Walker, young studs built to terrorize quarterbacks. Add in Arnold Ebiketie and Bralon Trice, and you suddenly have a rotation that's built to feast. And feast they must, because last season, even though Atlanta swept the Bucs, they managed to sack Mayfield only once in 2 games. That simply won't cut it in 2025. But let's be honest, none of this matters if the Falcons don't capitalize on the opportunity directly in front of them. Because make no mistake, that's exactly what this is, a golden opportunity to punch the reigning NFC South champs right in the mouth from the first snap of the season. Atlanta hosts Tampa Bay in Week 1. That's not just any matchup, that's a tone setter. And now they'll do it without having to deal with Tristan Wirfs, who could potentially miss multiple games and may even start the season on the physically unable to perform list. Tampa's options to replace him? Charlie Heck, Silas Zancy, or maybe even kicking rookie Graham Barton outside. Let's be real, none of those names are scaring anyone in Flowery Branch. Heck has been a journeyman with sub-50 PFF grades last year between stints with the Cardinals and 49ers. Barton is a talented rookie, but throwing him at left tackle against this kind of pass rush? That's a trial by fire, and it's one Atlanta's front should be eager to exploit. Look at what's at stake here. The NFC South is no longer the walk in the park it was for the Bucs during their Brady-era dominance. They've won the division 4 straight years and made the playoffs 5 straight times, but that grip is loosening. Atlanta swept them last year and still missed the playoffs. That stings. Now, with Tampa likely hobbled early and New Orleans expected to take a step back in a rebuilding year, it's wide open. Even Carolina could sneak into the mix. But the Falcons? They're the ones staring down the best chance they've had in half a decade to take this division by force. So what does the path look like? After facing Tampa at home, Atlanta travels to Minnesota, heads to Carolina, and then hosts Washington. Win the opener, especially in dominant fashion, and suddenly you're riding a wave of momentum into a stretch where 2 of your next 3 games are against beatable opponents. If you handle your business in the division and steal one on the road, you could start 3-1. And in a division that's often been decided by a single game, that kind of start could make all the difference. Let's not ignore the context here. The Falcons finished 31st in team sacks last season. That's near the bottom of the league. For all the promise this defense has shown, they need to prove it on the field. They need to show that this isn't the same old Falcons pass rush. This is a new era, with new personnel and a new mindset. And Week 1, against a banged-up Bucs team missing its best offensive lineman, is the perfect place to send that message. And let's not forget the other narrative swirling around Flowery Branch this summer, the Kirk Cousins saga. The quarterback docuseries dropped just in time to pour gasoline on a fire that should have already been extinguished. Cousins, who admitted late in the season that he wasn't fully healthy, now finds himself a backup, one who feels misled by the team. And while that story has dominated headlines, it's time to shift the focus back to the field. Back to the guys who are going to determine whether this franchise finally climbs back into the postseason. Training camp opens July 23rd at the IBM Performance Field, and the mission is clear: build chemistry, stay healthy, and come out swinging in Week 1. Because the moment Wirfs went down, the excuses went with him. The door is open. The time is now. What do you think, Falcons fans? Is this the moment Atlanta takes control of the NFC South? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And let's not sugarcoat it, if the Falcons don't seize this opportunity, questions will start flying fast. This isn't about catching a lucky break, this is about proving you belong at the top. Because for all the hype surrounding the defensive upgrades, for all the optimism about Michael Penix Jr. and the fresh direction, none of it matters if Atlanta comes out flat in Week 1. Let's talk specifics. You want to know why the absence of Tristan Wirfs is such a massive deal? He's not just any left tackle. We're talking about a player who's been named first-team All-Pro twice. A player who's been Baker Mayfield's bodyguard, giving him the time to hit guys like Mike Evans and Chris Godwin downfield. Without him, Mayfield won't have that comfort. And when Mayfield gets uncomfortable, his decision-making drops off a cliff. That's not speculation, that's on tape. Now imagine that discomfort coming from all angles. Leonard Floyd coming off one edge. James Pierce Jr. pinning his ears back. Jalen Walker bringing the heat. And let's not sleep on Bralon Trice and Arnold Ebiketie, they're rotational guys with starting caliber energy. This isn't a defense that needs to manufacture pressure with exotic blitzes anymore. They can rush 4 and still collapse the pocket. That's a luxury Atlanta hasn't had in years. And it's not just about pressure, it's about tone. Set it early. Show the Bucs and the rest of the league that this team isn't here to wait for the playoffs to come to them. They're coming for the playoffs. They're coming for that division crown. Because let's be real, winning Week 1 doesn't just get you a 1-0 start, it puts the rest of the NFC South on notice. You beat the defending champs, take command of your home turf, and launch into the season with belief. But don't think Tampa's just going to roll over. Even without Wirfs, they've got playmakers. Baker Mayfield, for all his inconsistencies, plays with heart. The Bucs still have a solid interior line, and their defense isn't going to be a pushover. This will be a battle. But for once, the edge belongs to Atlanta, on the line, in the scheme, and in the urgency. That's the key word, urgency. Because the window is open now. Not next year. Not when the young guys develop. Right now. There are no excuses left. The defensive upgrades have been made. The coaching adjustments are in place. The division is vulnerable. If you can't take advantage of a banged-up rival at home in Week 1, then when? So now we turn it over to you, the fans. What's your confidence level heading into the season opener? Are the Falcons finally in a position to rip this division away from Tampa Bay? Who do you think will be the breakout star in Week 1, James Pierce Jr.? Jalen Walker? Leonard Floyd? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because this season, it's not just about watching the Falcons. It's about believing in them. And it all starts now. Don't forget to hit that like button if you're fired up for Week 1, and subscribe for all the latest Falcons updates, breakdowns, and exclusive behind-the-scenes coverage as we follow the journey, step by step, toward reclaiming the NFC South. Let's get it, Dirty Birds!